Welcome to part 2 of my EVE Online Tips for New Players series, in which I try to basically walk you through the process of getting started on EVE, and along the way pass along a few tips that I've learned along the way. I'm by no means any kind of an expert at EVE. That takes a long time. But I have learned a few things along the way that I think would be helpful to new players. And so here we are. We're in the station that we got deposited into at the end of the last episode after character creation was completed. And this is the docking bay where the ships are. And right here, I can't zoom in enough in this particular mode to show it, but that's the capsule right there. And another way to look at this station is if you go up here and enter Captain's Quarters. Now this takes a little while to load, and for that reason, a lot of people, myself included, don't usually use this view. But here you see a new character, and out there where you can barely notice it is the capsule. You can see a hologram image of it here, and this is the basic main component that is a part of every spacecraft the character uses. This is a small self-contained spacecraft of its own. It has propulsion, life support, and so on. This is what the capsuleer is encased in. That's the capsule. And that capsule becomes mounted in whatever ship the capsuleer is flying at the time. Or you can also use the WASD keys to walk the character along. I'm just going to move this over here out of the way for the moment. You can use WASD to walk along, D to go right, A to go left, and S to turn around and go the other direction. And in here is the capsuleer's actual quarters. And you notice there's no running around. I mean, these capsuleers are pretty much immortal, so you're not going to see them just running and dashing around. And you can come along here and get over the couch. You mouse over here and you can sit and still get a view of what's going on. You can't zoom in or out when sitting, so we'll just hit W to stand up. We can zoom in, and you see there's another hologram of the currently active ship, which in this case is the capsule. Looks like a couple of boxes of cereal and some Coke or something down there. There is a flat panel information pad. This one is the agent finder. And up here is a corporation channel, and I believe that's just basically news of some kind. This one actually is for planetary interaction. We'll get to that sometime eventually. And so on. But myself, I generally choose to use the ship hangar because it loads faster, and frankly, I don't generally spend too awfully much time in station. Anyway, when we got in here, this introductory tutorial started up. And welcome to your new life, pilot. I am Ara, an instructional AI who will teach you the basics of survival in New Eden. It can be a dangerous world, so I suggest you follow my lead for the time being. And it is a good idea. This is the very first introductory tutorial. There are quite a few more tutorials in the form of the career agent tutorials. And it's a very good idea to do all of them and to read everything that is presented. It's a little time consuming. I know a lot of people these days don't like to spend a lot of time reading, but it's very helpful and you will learn a lot doing it. And later on, you will tell new users the same thing yourself. And so, this tutorial will get you into your first starship, your first weapons and defense modules, brand new skill to train, and some funds to start you off. Now over here, I'll take a minute. This is the Neocom. It is basically a toolbar of assorted things like right here. That is the industry panel. click again to make it go away. This is the regional market, and this is the ship fitting service and EVE mail. That's right, there's mail in EVE. And of course the wallet, which your new character starts out with 5,000 ISK. ISK is interstellar credits. And there's a number of other things. Up here with your portrait and tiny version is your character sheet that has information about your character. And we'll get into more about this soon. Okay, so we click next when we're ready to go. Current tutorial state is always saved. And right there, you can get a hold of this if it's not. And you can close the window so that it's not in the way, and you hit that to open it back up. That bar is a neocom, and like I just said, it's got a lot of different things on it, and you can put a few more things on it too later on. And also, some of the buttons will blink if there has been a status change. Like, for example, if money goes into or out of your wallet, the wallet button will start to blink. If you receive EVE mail, that will start to blink, and so on. All right, click next. The rookie help, it talks about the rookie help channel. I don't have access to it because this account has been in existence for way longer than 30 days. And you only see the rookie help channel for 30 days. And there's a little bit of advice here. Be careful when talking to other people. Trust and cooperation are the cornerstones of New Eden, but there may always be occasional capsuleer who will not have your best interest at heart. In other words, if they smell a newbie, they might be trying to scam you, or perhaps just to kill you for the fun of it. There are those that will do that. Click next. And starting the first mission on your certification course. And the certification course is where they walk you through the basics of how to control things. So you start a conversation with her, Aura, and so you click Agents tab. If it's not visible, you'll see a tab up here. You click Agents. There is also Offices, which now that I clicked that, it will take a minute to load. Apparently, yeah, this is corporate offices, corporations that have offices in this station. And then guests, this is people that are actually docked at this station at the moment. So we'll click Agents, go to Aura, click the little speech bubble here, start a conversation. And let's move this out of the way. Okay, here's our first mission. At the moment, all you have to fly is your capsule. First priority, get you into a starship. Your assignment, follow the tutorial steps. I'll guide you to a hidden location in space. If you ever get lost, remember to use the back and next buttons and read the tutorial slides, or you can quit the mission and start over again from the beginning. But if you follow my advice, you won't get lost. So the next thing to do is to click on down here and accept the mission. And right here, okay, now here in this tutorial, Aura is going to tell you to do that. Click next after you open the conversation. And read this, and you look at this stuff here, and then you come down to the bottom and you click accept like I just did. Click next when you've accepted the mission and closed any unnecessary windows. Okay, this window has we've hit accept, so we're going to close that window and hit next. When you undock for the first time, you will enter space in your capsule. It is usually contained within a spaceship and allows a specially trained pilot, like yourself, a capsuleer, to control that ship by thought alone, because basically when you're in the capsule, you're hardwired into the control systems, and that when the capsule is put into a ship, you are hardwired directly to ship control. Capsule also functions as an emergency escape vessel. If another capsuleer manages to destroy your spaceship, you'd be wise to make an very quick getaway. And now that you're ready to undock, press the undock button. And you come up here, press the undock button. You get a chance to click it again if you want to abort, but generally you don't hit undock unless you mean to. Although I've accidentally clicked it a few times myself. Okay, now we can get a close look at the capsule. And we're zoomed in all the way here. This capsule is moving out at like 200 meters per second, headed straight away from the station it just undocked from. This is the core of a capsuleer's existence, that capsule right there. If a ship is destroyed, this capsule is ejected and you attempt to warp away. Although there are plenty of pilots that will not hesitate to lock on and destroy your capsule, in which case you wake up in your medical clone at the station where that medical clone is located. Because at the moment of the destruction of the capsule, the copy of your mind is downloaded out of your brain and transmitted back to where your medical clone is, and you wake up inside the clone. Alright, once you've undocked, click Next. And it's talking about left mouse, you can rotate the camera around. Right mouse, you can rotate the camera around, but when you let go, it'll snap back. You can zoom in and out the scroll wheel. Click Next. And now it's talking about the overview, which is this right here. You can resize that. And it gives information about everything in the immediate vicinity, as well as important landmarks, like, for example, I'm not sure what that is. Anyway. And somebody has challenged me to a duel, and I'm going to decline because I'm a new character. And while we're at that, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. You hit Escape. This menu comes up. Click the Chat tab up here. And okay, I need to find it. General Settings. Okay, on General Settings, you come down here for dueling. Auto reject invitations. Because when somebody invites you to a duel, if you accept it, then you are in combat with that person. And when you're first starting out, you don't want to do that. I mean, we haven't even got our first ship here. So it's talking about the ship. Let's see. You can customize it in many ways, and left-clicking on the horizontal button, left-clicking here brings up a menu that allows you to customize it like crazy. And a lot of this stuff you see here is because of stuff that I have done customizing it. And click Next. Okay, like for example here, this little icon is a Stargate. This box here is a ship. This is somebody else's capsule. This here is a station. That here would be another station. No, that's another ship. Okay. Anyway, I've been away from EVE a little bit. So some of these icons don't quite look like I remember. Anyway, the important ones I remember. Don't worry about that. Okay. And this is the panel that's related to the selected item. So we click this here, and that's our station we just undocked from. And it tells what the name of it is, distance. And you have options here like approach, warp to within 0, dock, orbit, which means fly circles around it basically, maintain a certain distance from it, target it, look at it, or show information about it, so on. And okay, so we click Next again. How to identify objects in space. Broken squares are ships. Crosses are those ships not flown by capsuleers. If they're red, you may shoot them. Squares are, the square brackets are stations. The circle with an arrow in it is a Stargate. Okay, now you're engaged in the warp drive, allowing you to quickly travel and so on. Locate ancient missions on the upper left. Okay, over here. Now these three things can be closed right here. You've got the system information, your routing, and agent missions. So you go to agent missions, highlight where it says covering the basics, click that, and down here where it says warp to location, click that.
Warp drive active.
And this ship is now warping to where it was sent. And it's a hidden location in space that only people doing this tutorial can get to. Okay, we click next again, and it's going to talk about the radial menu. Now when I started EVE Online, there was no radial menu, and generally speaking, I don't use it. You can use it if you choose. That's entirely up to you. Okay, and by pressing and holding the left mouse button, like for example with this, I put the mouse over the ship and press left mouse, and it brings up a number of options: stop, orbit, and target, look at, and warp to within, and so on and so forth. Personally, I use the right-click menus, or I come up here and say I wanted to warp back to the station. I would click the station, and I would click dock, and then the ship would warp back to the station and dock. Alright, so anyway, once you're familiar with this, you go on and here you hit next. To board a ship in space. See, there's a ship here, right here. The square brackets is a ship. Green bar here means it's in the same corporation as you. And here's another tip. If you press C, it turns on the tracking camera and points the camera in the direction of whatever it is you've selected. So I'll click here, and there is your ship. And we can go over here and click this little eyeball icon and look at it. And that is your ship. It's a rookie ship, a Velator, and this is what's waiting. So we'll click the X here to go back to my own ship. And it's, again, the tutorials push the radial menus. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to use them. I don't. And so now the thing to do is to board the ship. So I'm going to right click on this and click board ship. The ship has now, the capsule has now been installed into the Velator. And once you boarded the ship, click next. And it's talking about acceleration gates, which is a way to reach pockets of space that are inaccessible otherwise. And the acceleration gates allows the game to limit what kinds of ships can go into certain areas. And for PvE, or player versus environment type missions, where you're going against AIs and NPC rats and so on, you find a lot of accelerations. In PvP and player versus player type activities, you won't find a whole lot of use of acceleration gates, if any. Alright, now you need to activate the acceleration gate. And what I do is I just right click on it, come down here, activate the gate. And if the ship is more than 2,500 meters from it, it will first navigate closer to it, and then when it's within range, it will activate the gate, and you'll go this way. And now, click next again. And now we want to click on the Galente cargo rig. That's got it focused. And we need to approach it. So we'll click here, approach. Click next. Access content from the structure. Open the cargo window. So you can do it this way with the radial menu, or you can right click here, open cargo, or you can click on the item itself, open cargo, right click on the item itself, or you can just click this button with the item selected here in the overview and click open cargo. Okay, cargo's open, click next. To move the contents, you use the loot all button. If you want to move everything from the cargo you've opened into your ship, you hit loot all. Bingo. And the other cargo window closes, and you still got this one. You go ahead and close that. Click next. Once you've looted the object, close the inventory window, head back to the station to complete the mission and accept your rewards. Find the station in this list. Okay, it's right here. It's the only station in the list. And I'm going to click warp, or dock, which will take me right to it. Click next down here. Current vessel is classified as a rookie ship. If you ever dock at a station when you're just in your capsule, like if your ship gets destroyed and your capsule ejects, you head to a station. If you don't have any other ships in that station, you will be given one of these. That contains with it a basic weapon and a basic mining laser to get you going and whatnot, and if you end up losing everything. Alright, we're docking at the station. Let's go ahead and click next. And having docked at the station after doing a mission, we come over here to the agent we were working for, start the conversation, put this out of the way, and hit complete mission. Mission is completed. Okay, they have given us a skill book. One skill book, repair systems. Alright, complete the mission. Click next. Skills have to be trained. And every skill can be up to trained up to 5 levels. And this affects a lot of different things. And skill training does not ever have to stop. It continues in real time whether you're logged in or not. Okay, click next to begin skill training. Skill book is located in the item hanger, which is this icon right here. Click that. There's the item, and here you've got a ship hanger. You've got the ship's hold. In this case, the ship also has a drone bay, and of course the ship hanger, the item hanger, excuse me. And you just right click on this, train now to level 1. The book disappears, and you have started training. Alright, so we'll go ahead and close that window. We don't need it open right now. Hit next. Most skills give you a bonus to a relative attribute for every level you train. Many ships, modules, and other useful items require you to have trained one or more skills to a certain level. To determine which skill you need, right-click the entity in question, choose Show Info, and go to the Requirements tab. A green check mark indicates that the skill has been trained to the required level. A red X means that the skill has not yet been trained at all. And a yellow circle indicates that you have learned part of the skill but did not yet meet the required level. Okay, when you're finished reading this, click Next. Now you should request another mission. This is how you go about it if you decide to work for the other agents in New Eden. During this mission, you get a defensive module for the ship. Okay. Go ahead and request mission. And if you've closed this, what you would do is come over here, start conversation, and there's the new mission being offered. Doing well. Next test will have to cover some basic combat training. Time to fight. When you're ready, you'll be provided with some modules to fit to your starship to make sure you keep following the tutorial. Explain how to fit the modules, so on and so forth, yada yada. The reward of this, when you complete the mission, will be a small armor repairer, a module that will repair the ship's armor. So we'll accept that mission. And now you have to learn how to fit modules to the thing. All right, we accepted the mission. Click Next. This is a little confusing having this open and this and so on at the same time, but you don't have it like this all the time. This is just the very beginnings, and you need to know this stuff. All right, open the fitting service, which is this here. Move that around a bit. And this is where you fit modules and equipment to your ship. You've got a view here. You see it from the outside. And fitting service is open. Click Next. Receiving some new items and locating them in the hangar. All right, now. Okay, I'm going to close that. I'm going to open the inventory again. And here we've got a civilian armor repairer, and a light electron blaster #1. All right, we've found them. Click Next. Modules will always fit in one of 3 slot types. You've got your high power slots, medium power slots, and low power slots. Weapon module, which is this, drag it from here and drop it in here, and it will land in the first unoccupied high power slot. Or if I pull that back out, you can put it in a particular slot as long as it's the right kind. And the armor repairer, that will fit right in there. Alright, both modules are fitted. Click Next. Let's take the inventory screen and close that. And now it's time to undock. So let's close the fitting window and undock. So now the ship can, in addition to going places, it can actually do a little bit of something. Okay, we've undocked. Click Next. Warping to missions. Alright, now, just as before, agent missions. Look at, and this has 2 parts of it. There's Agent Home Base, which if you click that, your ship will head back towards where it came from. And down the second part is the mission destination. In this case, it's in dead space, and you have an option to warp to location. You can also go over here to read details to get your mission briefing again. But what we need to do right now, warp to location.
Warp drive active.
Now, even though I've got the tracking mode on the camera turned on, that doesn't do anything unless you've got something selected here in the overview. So you can use the left mouse button to rearrange the camera so that you can see where your ship is going or something like that. I always like to have the camera pointed where the ship is headed. I'm just a little funny that way, perhaps. I don't know. It's not necessary, but I like to do that just simply because I get a little motion sick if I don't. Alright. Click Next. We're arriving at the mission location. Loading the weapon. Alright, so we right click on the weapon and we click Antimatter Charge S. It'll take 5 seconds to do that. Okay. Learning about different types of ammunition. Different kinds of ammunition affect how much range and what kind of damage it does, and so on. And there's a lot to learn there too. So we'll just right click here and we will activate the acceleration gate and then click Next here. Alright. We're arriving here, and this is a tutorial fuel depot. Yeah. And our mission is to destroy that depot. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, follow this, use the radial menu, or what I'm going to do is right click on that and I'm going to lock target. Our target is now locked on that thing, and now we hit here to activate the weapon. And every time it cycles, it will fire. Now let's close that. Okay, we've opened fire. It's going to take a while because it's big, and we're a teeny tiny newbie ship. There will be some damage happening to the ship when the fuel depot explodes, but that's not to be worried about because it happens. And here I'm going to accelerate the video until it actually gets to that point. Now there was an important note right there. The system let you know that a skill that you were training completed. Okay. The fuel depot has exploded. And we're going to take some damage. Okay, we've taken some damage. We click next. And it's going to tell us about what this means down here. This outermost item is the indication of your shield status. And the middle one is your armor status, and the innermost is your structure, the ship structure. So we're at 4% shield, 66% armor, and 100% structure. You'll notice that the shield is regenerating on its own. That's coming back on its own. The armor is not changing. So we have a repair module here. Civilian armor repair. Click that, turn it on. And it is, every time it cycles, repairing some of the damage to the armor. Okay, very good. Also up here, you've noticed this came on. This is a non-capsuleer log-off timer. Cause is conflict with a non-capsuleer, in other words, an NPC character of some kind. The consequence, if you log off before this timer expires, your ship will remain in space until the timer expires. So you get something like that and you're ready to log off. What you do is you go ahead and you dock up and you wait that timer out. It's only like a 4.5 or 5 minute timer. Now, actual combat with other capsuleers, that will have a longer timer. Okay. Our armor is repaired, so we go ahead and turn that module off. Click it again to turn it off. And we click next. Learn about shields and armor. And it's talking about what I was just saying here. Click next, we deactivated the module. What to shoot at. And we're going in. Red crosses are valid targets, yeah. Okay, so we'll activate the acceleration gate. Sometimes you gotta right click and again to get the right spot, or come up here, acceleration gate, activate gate. So much easier. And I'm going to click the X here and make that go away. If it will permit me to. There we go. Now, our shields are still regenerating, and that happens automatically. There are modules that can make it happen faster, but this is a newbie situation. Okay, we're in range of the gate. Warp drive is active. We're going to the next spot in this part of the basic tutorial. And once this mission is complete, I'm going to end the video to keep it from getting too long, and we'll pick up in part 3 right where this one leaves off. Okay. Acceleration gate activated. Click next. Destroying enemy ships. And again, they're talking about radial menu. By clicking on this and holding and bringing that, suppose it's too far away to actually see easily. The overview is much better. Click on the overview Selected item menu comes up. Click target. We've got our target locked. And click on the weapons to start firing. And here's another bit of a tactic. Right click there on the target. Come down where it says orbit. And orbit at, say, 2,500 meters. That'll get the ship moving so that it's a moving target. You know, a moving target is easier to hit, is harder to hit. And here's another target out there. Now real quick, mouse over the weapon. You see fall off range 2,000 meters, optimal range 500 meters. That tells you how far away you need to be hitting effectively. So let's click this, click target, right click on this, orbit at say 1,000 meters. Start firing. This ship will literally fly circles around the target, making it harder to hit, and it will try to do so at the distance you specified. You notice the enemy ship is taking damage, and it has been destroyed. Alright, both enemies destroyed. Click next. And the work here is done. Dock with rotation, using the radial menu. No, I'm not going to use the radial menu. I don't like it. Say what you like, but I don't. Alright, so we're going to dock back at the station, and I'm going to close that for the time being. And I'm going to end the video here, and I will say that if you're interested in starting EVE, you can get a 14-day free trial of EVE Online from the EVE Online website, or if you look down in the description of this video, you will find a link for a 21-day free trial. And that gives you 21 days to try it out. At any time during that trial, you can upgrade it into a paid subscription, which is like $15 or $19 a month. And that will add 30 days of game time to the account, which means your 21-day trial becomes 51 days for the price of 30. Not bad, if I do say so myself. And if you do that, what you do is you come over here to EVE Mail. Click this tab that says EVE Mail. Click this here that says Compose. And in here, you put, in the to box, you put Testicles Aldent, spelled just like that. And in the subject, write something like new sub. And in here, you write a little brief message telling me that you've subscribed on my 21-day subscription free trial link, and just tell me the date and time that you did that, and I will send you a little welcome to EVE Online gift. We'll pick this up in the next video right where we're leaving off. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.